So hey, lovers of product, I'm here today with Jay Brewer from Rapid7. Jay, would you introduce yourself?
I'm Jay Brewer. I'm the Vice President of Experience Design at Rapid7. And Rapid7, if you, just so that everybody knows, makes cybersecurity products, and we try to catch the real bad guys. Not only did I do video games, I did work for the New York Times. I've also done toy design, but always really great experiences. You know, like how do you really connect to the customer and meet their needs, be it a kid who wants to play with a toy, or when I was at the New York Times, like how do you ask a question and get a really good answer? And at Warner Brothers, I got to work on Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online, and that's like an entire end-to-end experience, right? Like people love Dungeons and Dragons, then they want to come in and like get playing a character right away. They want to do a variety of missions and stuff, and so you got to make them successful, but really engaging. Yeah. So I love that type of work.
Pretty diverse background set. I mean,
diverse, yeah.
What made you? I mean, a lot of people stay in the same area of expertise. Like they'll do video games their whole life.
Right.
You've not only touched on one, but 4 or 5 different areas of technology. What made you jump around?
Right. So they're really not a pivot. It's more of the thinking about like just solving new experiences, and everything I learned in gaming as I got to be a parent, and I wanted to do some things that were could affect people's lives even more directly, and making them really happy playing the games is awesome. But I thought like, hey, could I get into healthcare? Could I do something else? I started looking at cybersecurity, and like it seemed to be like a never-ending problem, right? Like credit card breaches and data theft, and I said like, well, what do you do to solve that problem? So I just thought like it would be great to take everything that I've learned and then try to really figure out like both what's happening for the people we're trying to save with cybersecurity, but also the people, the practitioners who are like, I need to go catch all these cyber criminals and do that. And having worked on like games that involve Batman where you catch the Joker, I just thought like, hey, that's a natural affinity. Maybe I could help catch real bad guys, and that seemed really exciting.
So the thread is catching bad guys.
Yeah, sure, catching bad guys. Is that in the game
design too?
Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Toys, catching bad guys?
Well, making bad guys and playing with other good guys to defeat the bad guys, but sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so there's a distinct thread here.
Yeah.
Now you're also really passionate about user experience along with catching bad guys.
Sure.
Talk to me about your passion from user experience. Where did it come from?
I actually grew up, my dad's a designer in northern Maine, and I did print design and all kinds of different work growing up, and I've always had that idea that like as much as you can really be in love with the design, like you also have to get it produced and get it finished and make the customer happy and meet their needs. And I think for me that passion with user experience is all about like how do you know how you're meeting their needs? Like what are you gathering? Are you asking the right questions? And typically with a lot of great usability or the way that you can go about it from a user experience point of view, you end up with a lot of conversations and stuff. But how do you really scale that effort? And with a lot of the cybersecurity tools, they're big products, right? They're software as a service, enterprise level tools. So I wanted to also understand like how to like get in there and understand what security practitioners are doing, and then what are the experiences that we need to create or make better so that we could help them catch the bad guys. And so for me, like that process of understanding is really important, and that's why we looked at like Pendo and other things, but Pendo really also would meet those needs of like starting to get that understanding. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you consider yourself a product person?
I'm a product person. I make products, and even though I'm the head of experience design, like I work with product management, work with engineering, and user experience is really only one part of that trinity. So you really have to have all 3 of those minds. Like, what are the business needs really? Like, what's the person's needs, and then is it feasible? Like, can we actually make it? And something like Pendo or other things can really give you that insight into like, this is what people are doing, this is how much they're using, this is where it's breaking down, these are where the customers are falling off. So you can answer a lot of those questions that those 3 players really need. Yeah.
So talk to me in your role today, how do you work with product management?
So my counterpart in product management, Greg Collins, he's awesome. His background actually also is not in cyber security. He's originally from Quicken, from Intuit. And we're just passionate about emotionally connecting with a person, thinking about like that cybersecurity person who's like their hair's on fire because all their data's been stolen, and we need to make them successful as quickly as possible. So we kind of work with product management to really come up with these personas and the different characters in our story, and then how are we going to tell that story through the product experience, and how can we get them set up, deployed, be successful as quick as possible. So Greg and I really, we work together hand in hand, and then our engineering counterpart says like, yeah, like that's kind of it. But we're essentially just storytellers, you know, and that's really how we see our roles. And Greg really thinks about also like the pricing and how we're going to, you know, a lot of the strategy, and helps me understand a lot of the business impact and how it's going to meet a lot of the business needs. And I'm like, well, these are what the customers are doing, and this is what's happening. And he's like, yeah, but did you know they're thinking about all that? So it's a dialogue, and then we kind of craft that story together, and that comes out not just in stories and sprints and whatever. It comes out in the messaging and the positioning and how we're going to do that, and then how the product's going to meet their needs. But it's a real deep relationship.
Speaking about storytelling and empathy and emotion, talk to me about design thinking and how the principles have affected, you know, your job, how you create software.
So I think like UX's role, experience design's role at a company, is to really empower everybody else to be design thinkers. Our team, like we have a team of a little over 30, but we can't do all that thinking. So how do we train and create workshop environments so that product management can also do design thinking along with engineering? And so what we've done is we've created a workshop like format where when we do what's called like our discovery and kickoff, everybody participates in ideation. From they participate in their ideas, and then what's the group thinking, and we really cook that down. So we make it a real experience to participate in the design thinking, and then after that we produce artifacts like this is what happened at the workshop and this is what's going on. I think the idea is to use design tools to empower everyone to be a designer, because everybody has great thinking. That's really how we look at it. And I could talk more about pillars of design thinking, but we really want to share that out broadly with the team and transform the culture of Rapid7.
So Jay, you've had a great career. What are you most proud of?
I am most proud of just getting to work with people and have a really great conversation, and also not say, I don't really use the word no. I'm a yes person, and not because I want to do more work. I'm a yes person because I want to hear someone's idea, and I want to be a better active listener. And I think the thing that I've tried to do is really actively listen and engage with people and get good thinking. You know, I could talk about something I'm really proud of. I would say I love working at Rapid7. The thing that's been incredible is to create teams of teams and people who are empowered to also participate in the full product design process, that aren't just in product or engineering or, you know, experience design, but customer support and customer success and sales and marketing, because we're all working on the product. Like the product is that entire end-to-end experience. And that's something I'm really proud of, like growing up enough to not like try to own it all, and to realize it needs to be done by like a lot of different people.
Taking a little different tact, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night?
Is there anything that keeps you up at night? You seem like a really positive person.
Yeah. So besides the current political environment, no, just kidding. Like I would say that I really want to get to the real root of the problem, and making sure that from asking with like in Pendo, right? Like, here's all these activities that are happening, features and pages, but like, why is that really happening? What's really happening in their environment? And being able to, over time, like know more deeply, like what the customer really, really wants, what are those unmet needs? And so sometimes I stay up at night because I'm thinking like, oh, this thing that we're releasing, is that really gonna hit the mark? But I'm reassured because we actually can look at what happens the next day when that thing does go out and try to make it better. So sometimes I get kind of deadlocked in that release versus like, is it going to be successful? But then knowing that we can iterate over time makes me kind of calm down, and then I can sleep for a few hours in the morning.
So one question I always ask people I interview for jobs, and now I've started asking people I interview in general. 3 words to describe yourself. It's always interesting answers.
Wow, that's interesting. Interested, not interesting.
So explain that.
So when I'm interviewing people, I learned this from Lee Weiner, who's the chief product officer at Rapid7. Like, you want people to meet interesting people, and that they're interesting, and they've done a lot of things. Maybe the questions you've asked me are I'm interesting, but are they really interested in working with you and helping you solve the problems and the problems that you have, and really the customer or whatever? So like, they may be interesting, but are they really interested? And I'm actually, I am interesting, but I'm really interested in what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So that's how I would do it.
That's a great answer.
Thanks.
I like that. So one final question. Loot boxes, like EA, pay to play, pay to win, gamble to win. You know, what's your thoughts?
So this will probably get away from me, but so one of the lead designer on the last game I worked on, Infinite Crisis, is one of the designers of the loot boxes for Star Wars Battlefront. And so
People must hate him.
so yeah, so he definitely feels a little vilified, but the fact is, I think when you combine something as beloved as Star Wars, and then you combine the fact that that loot mechanic has been there for a while, and there's various decisions about how that mechanic would work, it created this mess that we have. I definitely support the excitement of a loot box and working hard, and I'm a World of Warcraft player before that, and Hearthstone now, and all kinds of different games. And my son actually participated in some of the usability for those loot boxes for EA, and I think they did a good job. I think that maybe the time to value and the ability for them to be successful right away versus having 2 populations of people who might be using loot boxes and didn't. But that being said, I definitely support loot boxes coming from gaming. So
Awesome. Thanks, Jay.
all right, thank you.